we have a bunch of projects going on, but one of the main ones we have is about this idea of extracting value from images. And trying to make that value extraction process accessible to ordinary people, people who aren't experts in the process. So there are an incredible number of images being captured at the moment. There are 140 billion images on Facebook. That's a lot of images. There are 340 billion images, like happy snaps, captured a year. The stream of satellite images is more than you could possibly imagine. Just Heathrow generates 75 terabytes of video a day. The opportunity that is embedded in all of that information is fantastic. But what we need is a way to be able to get that information out of that video, right? There's far more video, far more imagery than any human being or set of human beings could possibly interrogate. There's no human process that you can use to get the value out of that imagery. So anything that relies on people tagging it, or the metadata involved, or any of that kind of human-based analysis just isn't going to scale, even just to the images on Facebook. So it's Facebook's growing at 6 billion images a month. That's a full-time job. All right, so what we're about is trying to find ways that machines can understand images. Now, up to a point, machines already understand images, right? You can already take photos off your camera, put them onto your computer, and play them as a screensaver. But what you can't do is find that image of your crazy Uncle Dave upside down at last year's Christmas party, or so if you find something in one particular image, there's no way that you could go and find it in another one, right? If you find that you've taken a nice picture of a bridge and you're sure that you've got another nice picture of a bridge somewhere, your odds of finding it are pretty slim. That's in your set of photos, right? That's the photos that you've got at home. I've got 16 gigabytes of photos at home. But that's nothing compared to what Facebook have got, and it's nothing compared to what Google are indexing. But it's also nothing compared to what's available, right? So the issue in the value in these images isn't just about the images that are currently being taken, it's about the images that could be taken. So the images that could be taken include not just the satellite imagery that's currently largely being thrown away, the happy snaps that are being thrown away, but the fact that digital cameras are so cheap as to have become disposable means that there are actually an incredible number of images that might be taken but that aren't taken because we don't know what to do with them. This is particularly an issue in defense where there's a lot of money being put into image capture equipment which, one, isn't utilized properly, like isn't utilized all the time, and two, well, one of the reasons it's not utilized is because they don't know what to do with the images. But the other problem is that even if they can capture them, they can't even store them, let alone process them. So what we've done, partly through some funding from Defence, we've got a CTD, Capability Technology Demonstrator Program grant, which has allowed us to turn this search technology into it's not quite a commodity, but the idea is that it's something that you can go and, a box you can buy that will search through your image data without it having to leave the building so that you can get the value out of it. So that's the image data you're actually already getting and the stuff that you might be getting. And getting that data, getting the value out of that data means being able to figure out what's in those images and get the images that you want, the information that you want out of it. So we've been doing this process in general for a whole bunch of people. We've just finished working with BHP. We've done a lot of work with Canon in the past. We have done a lot of work with DSTO as well. This is a demonstration of capability that from someone who wants to remain nameless, but what it's doing is searching through video taken from a train for particular assets along that train line. So if you have a lot of infrastructure and you have assets that either you don't know where they are, or you've got the potential that you may not know where they are in the future, what this is doing is straight out of video captured automatically off the front of a vehicle, identifying where those assets are. So it searches the video for things that look like the particular assets of interest here are traffic signals and information signals. And all of that happens automatically, right? The train rolls down the line. What you get back is a report on where your assets are. And it scales, right? We're talking about running that over the rail infrastructure of a country, a large country. So, some potential applications. Again, what the capability is, what the product is a box that you go and put in a rack in your server farm, and what it does is search through the image assets you point it at and allows you to recover images out of that data set on the basis of their content. So, applications. You can look for particular assets on the basis of their appearance. That might be from aerial imagery, if you know what your particular assets look like from above. So if you're running a mine, you could, and you know what all of your large assets look like from above, you could find them all just by aerial image surveys, which are surprisingly cheap. The idea of a force multiplier for image analysts is very popular. So the idea is that once you find something in the imagery that you're interested in, so you find a particular target or a vehicle or whatever it is that you're interested in, that you can then search for that exact target or that class of targets through your entire image database, which might have billions of images in it. We're looking at change detection for IEDs, for detecting IEDs. The way that works is about searching for what's not there. It's the same search process, but it's a search for what's changed. And the project that we did for BHP was on simulation for training and planning, about adding content to training simulators in order for them to be able to keep those training simulators up to date. In terms of agriculture, there's a whole capability in precision agriculture. If you buy a tractor at the moment, it will have the capability to load a shapefile in there so you can spread fertilizer and seed at different rates through different parts of your paddock. We are generating that information straight out of satellite data through this same process, recognizing what you're seeing in the satellite data, turning it into a shape profile that a farmer can download off the website. And land valuation is about trying to recognize what the soil profile is so you can figure out what the capacity of that particular plot is to grow a crop. Again, that's a search process because you've seen it so many times before, you know what to look for. Split testing doesn't happen in agriculture all that much, but if you know what you're looking at, if you know the soil types and you have all that information about how crops have grown here in the past, you can figure out what's going to grow here in the future as the climate changes. So, and I don't just mean as, you know, as a result of long-term climate change. I mean as a prediction of what has happened, what's going to happen for the rest of this year. And again, mining has a lot of the same kinds of issues, a bit more on surveillance. If you find a target that you're interested in an area, then you can track that target, and that target might be the Land Rover, the Land Cruiser you've lost. I hope people don't lose those enormous trucks, but there's all sorts of assets out there that people need to keep track of, and these provide a way to do it that's independent of other mechanisms. All right, that's all. Thank you.